The reason why this combo makes me so excited is because it feels like it shouldn't make sense together. So if you think about a divergent thinker, this person who is able to generate ideas, the divergent is the idea generator. So they're able to come up with ideas at a very rapid pace, and they're able to take in a lot. Like they do really well when they have a lot of options and they have a lot of um like just information to work with. Like they do well with things like that, and they're typically the ones that do very well when it comes to social media. All right, put a pin in that. Put a pin in that. That's going to be important later, especially platforms like TikTok. Anything that is prioritizing short form content, it rewards people who are able to generate ideas and create content at a very consistent pace. So typically, if you see the person who's able to like crank out like a bunch of videos a day and you're like, how are you doing this? They're likely a divergent thinker. They're likely a divergent thinker. So divergent thinking, and then you pair that with a systems thinker who is more methodical and who takes a little bit more time to curate things or to organize things and find the relationship. It is a slower pace. So to see a systems thinker and a divergent thinking style in the same person, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be so much fun. So that's her combo, divergent and systems thinker. And so one of the things that stood out to me, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about her personality. So one of the things that stood out to me when we were doing the creative thinking style assessment is that she has this way where she is able to come up with a bunch of different options for herself. And she approached life like a scientist. Like she was able to see, okay, if I want to go into this field, and this is ultimately what my goal is, I know that I can go this route. I can go to community college. I can go to a four-year university. I can be an apprentice. Like I know that I have these different options. And although this is my goal, I know that over time I might start going that route, and then I might decide that I want to do something else. And the way that she said it with so much ease and clarity and not almost excitement, it was excitement, but it was also a curiosity to it. Like I'm excited for the ride. I'm excited for the journey. And so when as she was speaking, as we were doing the assessment and I was just talking to her, getting to know her, that's what I kept picking up on. And so at the end, when her thinking style had systems in it, I was like, I pegged divergent, but systems was one that I was not expecting. Yes, and it's very exciting. It's very refreshing, and it brings this energy of possibility into the room. And that is one of the beautiful things about being a divergent thinker. So let me tell y'all about her breakdown. I'm gonna read through some of the things that represent how her thinking styles show up. So at her core, at her center, she is a systems thinker. My caveat to this is that because of her age, I have the suspicion that her divergent thinking will get stronger with time, but systems thinking is still very prevalent in what she does and even in the answers that she gave. So, at her core, she's a systems thinker, and that means that she naturally wants to see how things connect, work together and hold up as a whole, right? We talked about systems thinkers, so we know a lot of these details already. So the strengths of her style is being able to rebuild multiple things until it feels clear and accurate. So we were talking through how school was and how she approaches projects and classwork and things like that. So the things that showed her systems thinking was that she could rebuild her work multiple times until it felt clear and accurate. She was able to care deeply about whether her project was going to present the message clearly. Okay. And so like that's really important because the thing with systems thinkers is that the way that the systems that you create don't necessarily mean a workflow or a funnel, right? It literally is just being able to put things into an order that makes sense. Another thing is that she removes things that look cool but don't ultimately support the meaning of the project. And this is again referencing a project that she was giving to me as an example. And so what it was very interesting is how she would pay attention to how other people did their projects, right? So she would notice, oh, so and so used this method, or they used these colors, or they presented their project this way. And so what she was doing, because remember, I said that she reminded me of a scientist. So she's gathering information, she's gathering data, she's bringing in as much information as she can so that she can make an informed decision. And so that is very divergent and systems coded because the bringing in, like, there's not this fear of this is too much information, or I'm afraid that if I take in all of this that I'm not going to know what to do, or I won't be able to make a decision. The decisiveness is still there because her systems thinking grounds her divergent thinking, right? So it's like this beautiful beautiful balance of being able to take in as much information as possible and then organize it in a way that's meaningful. And that was her approach in multiple examples. It wasn't just that project, but that was a pattern that I kept hearing is take in, refine, edit, test, and then present something. And that was very, very interesting to me to hear the thought process behind it. So with her divergent thinking, we're going to go deeper into the divergent now. Yes, energy of possibility. Yes, it makes you feel like you really can do anything. Like, it's just like, okay, like, yeah, that sounds fun. Let's try it. So the divergent thinking, that is her creative engine. And that is one of the most exciting things about her brain to me, and her being a divergent thinker, is that it really makes her a very creative person, even though the work that she puts out and presents may not be the most creative looking aesthetically. Okay. And I'm saying that because I really want us throughout this series to start to disconnect this trope that we have of what a creative means, and conflating it to just being an artist, right? And not realizing that creativity is so much more than art. Art is beautiful. It is a beautiful expression of creativity, but it is not the only form of creativity, right? So being able to see that the engine behind her being able to use her mind to take in and to put together something that translates the meaning, that's problem solving. That's what drives the creativity. So underneath her systems thinking is her a strong divergent side. And I mean, like, again, if she takes this test again in a few years, I would bet that divergent would be stronger. I could bet it. So this is the part of her that comes up with many ideas, tries different versions of things, explores multiple ways something could work. Going back again to her describing her journey post grad, like post high school, and how she's open to the possibilities and exploring, and is very curiosity driven. So, Kyrie, bless you, but you ain't got to be that loud. All right. So she doesn't usually land on the right answer immediately. She discovers it by testing things, experimenting, and making comparisons. And the thing that makes this so cool is that there is no rush for the right answer either. There's this part of her that really enjoys the journey, enjoys the experience, like really just likes the ride and what she gathers from it, what she learns from it. And so this showed up in the way that she often created several versions of the same project, how she got new ideas by seeing how other people approach the same task, and by feeling both challenged and excited when there's a lot of possibilities. So if I asked her the question, and if you've taken the assessment with me already, the creative thinking style, then you probably heard me say something to this effect. Um, how if somebody came to you and said, Jada, I need you to create 50 ideas right now. I need 50 different versions of this thumbnail. How would you feel if somebody came to you and did that? If I've asked you that question before, just put a me in the chat or put your hand up in the comments. That's something that I ask because that is a signature trait of someone who is a divergent thinker, feeling excited by the possibilities, feeling excited by, oh, okay, this and this, and maybe this, and maybe this, and we could try this. Like they see it as a challenge and not a who are you talking to? Like, I'm gonna need you to give me 3 to 5 business days. And I'll return to you with an answer. So there's this almost like they have a higher tolerance for risk, and they're not as tied to the outcome, or they have faith that the outcome will be okay. Like they're just not pressed to figure out how it's going to work. So that's seeing that, I was like, okay, yeah, definitely giving Divergent. So her Divergent thinking though, and this is the part that's cool, is that the Divergent thinking doesn't run the show. So there are some people who are very strong in their divergent thinking, and it can come across a little chaotic, and like, where are you going with this? Like, you really can't pin it. Like, you can't really like peg what it is they're trying to do. You just got to watch them because it'll make sense. Hopefully it'll make sense. Sometimes it don't. Like, sometimes you just got to ask them straight up, what was that? I don't get it. But it makes sense sometimes when you are just watching and observing and letting it kind of play out. But her divergent thinking feeds her systems thinking. So imagine it is like a it's like your body. So your body is the system, and the divergent thinking is the food. And so the food that you consume is the thing that gives you energy so that you can actually enact the systems, like put the systems into play, make them work. And so the divergent thinking is what helps to even decide, what systems do I need? What is this system supporting? How does this work? So like, if you have, let's say you have a problem here that you're trying to solve. You have a project here, and the system is what's going to take you to the end goal of finishing the project, but you need to fuel. The divergent thinking is the fuel that drives you to the goal. Like, it's the thing that makes the system work, and it gives it a purpose. So that's how her brain works. And I think that is another reason why it's so cool that she can just generate ideas and take in information without being pressed about how it's going to work, because her systems thinking is going to support it. She knows she's going to have to organize this. Like, I can take this in, I can handle it, because I know that I know what my goal is, and ultimately I know what's going to support that goal and what's not going to. So there's just this it's this insane confidence that when you are not only owning your divergent thinking, but you are confident in it. Because one of the things that can happen, especially with divergent thinking, is that you can start to feel like a chaotic person, or you can start to feel overwhelmed, especially when you try to make yourself into somebody that you're not. Now, you may be someone like Mariah who has a systems thinking that is the core and grounds you, but that doesn't mean that you still don't have moments or occasions, opportunities where you may be taking in too much. Now you feel cluttered and it's overcrowded, and you might start to feel a way about the fact that why am I like this? Why do I have to keep watching what people do? Why do I have to keep taking in information? Why can't I just do this thing and put it out there, right? Why can't I be more organized? Or why can't I move faster? Whatever the balance is causing as a challenge for you, you can start to feel like you want to change how you work or how your brain works. And so that is one of the things that is a reminder that I would give to any divergent thinker, regardless of what your secondary or your second thinking style is to own the fact that you're a divergent thinker. Know that you serve a very critical role when it comes to creative thinking as a whole, to the creator economy, to create just the world, really, because creativity touches every industry, every aspect of living. But because we're talking about entrepreneurship, just knowing that it serves a purpose in business, and you don't have to be this person who is anything less than who you are in order to be an asset to your team or to your business. So, with that being said, let's talk about how the styles come together and how they just form this beautiful blend of an individual. So, the flow looks like generating lots of ideas, testing different options, compare what works and what doesn't, choose the version that makes the most sense, and then refine it until it's clear and solid. So, this is the rhythm, this is your natural rhythm and creative flow that more or less you're going to follow in that order. And if you find yourself maybe feeling stuck or overwhelmed or just not really sure what to do next, like maybe you kind of feel like you're stuck in a loop, you can always refer back to your creative flow and figure out, okay, where did I miss a step? Where did I like jump the gun on this? So this is ideally how you want to flow and how you want to move when it comes to your creative process. Your goal here with this balance, her goal is not to have an endless amount of options, but it's just being able to have enough to choose the right one, because your goal is not to be stuck with it, is to whittle them things down to whatever makes the most sense. So, as a systems and divergent thinker, some of the tension that she feels is feeling stuck between too many ideas and wanting more structure, like I was saying earlier, getting excited by endless possibilities, then slowing down to organize them. Because divergent thinker has a certain momentum to it, a certain pace, that if the systems thinker is coming in a little too hot, a little too early, that it can start to make you feel bogged down. The last one is redoing work several times before feeling confident enough to share it. And there's one thing when you're refining it, it's another thing when you are now holding your project hostage. So being able to know, okay, this is ultimately doing what I needed to do. Let's go ahead and put this out there. So these are the environments where she thrives in. This is where she does best. So when expectations are clear, when there is a structure or plan to work within. So having confines is not a bad thing by any means. Having some bounds, some parameters is good for you. Being allowed to refine and improve, not rush. So, although the ideas come very quickly, there's a lot of things that are being worked through at the same time. It doesn't mean that you're doing it in a fashion where you're pushing it along further or too quickly. You're not trying to rush it. And you don't do well when you're rushing. You still have to follow your process. And then the last thing is when your job is to execute and organize the ideas, not invent the whole strategy. So this is gonna really come into play when I talk about how she can monetize this. But just keep that in mind, log that, the execution part and the organizing ideas. So the struggle would come in environments that are chaotic or unclear, when they're focused only on speed over clarity, and constantly changing direction without explanation. Because if somebody comes in and they're telling you, now we're going to do this, now we're switching to this, you know what, actually we're going to do this, and you are in the middle of your process and you are testing out these ideas and experimenting, it is disrupting your entire flow. So you need to be able to know, okay, what are we doing so that I know where this vehicle is going. So altogether, bottom line is that the systems thinking powers the divergent creativity. It's powered by the divergent creativity. So the strength is not just in coming up with ideas, it's turning ideas into something that makes sense, that's communicated clearly, and it holds together as a whole. So trusting herself is important because it works not only it's not only important creatively, but she is reliable and impactful. So trusting that about herself and knowing that that's who she is going to directly combat that feeling that may come up of, I'm all over the place, I've got too much going on. Right, you are reliable and you are impactful. And her creativity shines when she's allowed to explore first and then organize and refine it and execute with intention. So, having that space to work through that entire creative flow is where she really shines. So, earlier I told y'all that the divergent thinkers are really strong when it comes to social media. And it's because the way that their brains work, the pace that it works at, the way they are just able to come up with ideas, that is very beneficial for social media. And when it comes to how that shows up in social media as a business, and I'm not talking about being a content creator, although that is an option, but what does that look like outside of that? Like, how do I take this skill, this knack for social media, and my ability to execute and my ability to organize, and that brings together social media management. It is the perfect combination for a social media manager. Yes, loved all the analogies. Thank you. I'm tapping in that creativity. I was surprised they even came out. I was like, dang. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm watching myself do it. Yes, yup. Social media. So okay. So let me talk about first. Let me give an overview of what this looks like. And I have to make this disclaimer because there are a lot of people, a lot of companies that don't understand the nuances of social media management. Not there's so many aspects, whether it's how much you should be paying them, what their responsibilities are social media managers content creators, and if so, how is that being compensated? There's so many things that are misunderstood about social media. And so what I want to do here is be very clear about what the responsibilities would be and how to put this into packages that do not burn her out. And if you are somebody who is Mariah's combo, then you definitely want to be listening, because this can be something that you can get into, especially if you are a young person. Like if you're your 18, 20s, this is a really good way to get started and as an entrepreneur. So I want you to listen to it, be very particular, pay attention to what I outline as your responsibilities and how this shows up, so that you can have a healthy experience in working with clients. So the monetization will not just come from ideas alone. It comes from the ability, from this ability, taking someone else's vision, content, or chaos and turning it into something that's organized, that's clear, and consistently executed. Organized, clear, and consistently executed. That is a paid skill. That is a skill that people will pay for. They desperately, desperately need it. I am people. I am people. So her systems thinking makes her reliable, and her divergent thinking makes her adaptable. And together that equals execution that people can trust, because you are the perfect combo. You're able to think of things that are fun, that's fresh, that's creative, and then you're able to actually execute it and put it out there. So yeah, yeah, that was yeah, those were I ate with those. I did. I'm proud of that. I gotta give myself props for that. So let's talk about the first monetization lane. This is content execution services. This one would be the most natural fit. And this is the one that is typically what you would think when you think about a social media manager. Um, and so this is going to be very clear. Let me just put it that way. Your people too. Facts. Okay, so here's what she's going to offer. So she sells herself as someone who makes content actually happen. Not someone who decides what content should be. I paused there because that literally could be a tagline. Like, I'm someone that makes content actually happen. Like, it doesn't just stay in your head or on your content planner, or wherever else you wrote down all of these ideas. So they decide what the content should be. So they're not. Let me get into the roles, and then I'll explain what they're not. So examples of this service are social media content creation and posting, content batching and scheduling, editing videos, organizing content libraries, turning raw ideas into finished posts, and maintaining consistency for a brand or a creator. So she is not selling the strategy in this, she is selling the follow through. Okay, the follow through, like actually get that stuff done, get that content actually made. So the people that would pay for this are small business owners, coaches or creators who hate posting, brands that already know what they say or what they want to say, parents, mentors, or founders who don't want to be in the weeds. So those are all very strong target audiences. This would align with her thinking because the systems would show up in her scheduling and creating folders for content, and the consistency in the timelines. And especially if that is very clear what that looks like, or if she's even able to create that based on what she is capable of executing, that's where her systems thinking would shine. Her divergent thinking would be shining through her adaptability, especially adapting to different content formats, but also being able to adapt with what they're noticing as trends, whether that is trends in the actual content world and social media world, or whether it's things that they're picking up on that are interests of people, or what they're noticing is performing the best when it comes to content. Just being able to be adaptable in multiple ways. Fixing the issues and trying different versions. That is where her divergent thinking would come to play. And so this is execution first, and it's in demand. They She will shine, and people who have this combination will shine when they are able to execute. Divergent thinkers really need that. They No, it's not divergent, it's systems thinkers that really need the execution. Like, that is something that is very important. I need to be able to see how is this all going to pan out. So the second lane is a done for you organization and cleanup. And this was one that I definitely need a year ago. I've been needing to organize my content for such a long time. So this is one that would really make me happy. Yeah, yeah, this would tickle my fancy. So as a done for you organization and cleanup, this is what she is able to offer people. So organizing content folders, renaming and structuring assets, setting up posting calendars, creating simple workflows for content creation, turning chaos into something usable. So whatever that looks like, that could even be the people who repurpose content. There's people, actually, I can't say people, I only know one person that does it, but she has a repurposing agency. So her business model is only repurposing content. And the way that she does that was, there were some ways that she shared that I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that being an option. Like there's so many different ways to repurpose your content. And so even something like that would be something, a really good one for a systems thinker and a divergent thinker, because they have a bunch of content to work with. So they're able to play with things and put things together and take bits and parts and put it into a new compilation. So repurposing would be a really, really, really good one for both combos. I mean, for both thinking styles. So this would be marketed as basically, let me organize your content so you can actually use it. Right. So the people that would pay for a service like this are creators with years of messy files, any businesses with unused content, anyone overwhelmed by digital clutter. I am who will pay. If you ever needed that idea validated, allow me to do it for you. This will work because most people hate doing this work. You're the only person that likes it. You're the only one. And then the other reason is that you find relief in it. Like it is relieving to both of your thinking styles to be able to take this content and to do something with it, and to put it into places that make sense. Like let's make this something that we can use again. Yeah. Yes. So all that alone is monetizable. And what's cool about it is that there's actually so many things that's cool about it. The first things that came to mind though is that this is something that you don't need to take a course to learn how to do. Like you don't have to take a course. You, unless you want to maybe get some editing skills, or maybe you want to go the route of planning content strategies, then yeah, you would have to know a little bit there, but you don't have to offer that in this service. Like you don't have to do that. You could just take out the stuff that you would need to get some training on and just focus on the things that you know you can do. And you are on a roll. You are on a roll. You know how many clients you can get from that? It's making me wish I wanted to do it. I don't though. I don't. But if that's your combo, y'all, put up the sales page. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I don't even know, but why are you still listening to me? But go make the sales page. Go set up the stand store so that you can go ahead and start getting the people to pay you for this. The last thing, not the last thing, the next thing, I think we have two more. Yeah. Okay, so the next lane is ongoing support retainers. So this is where systems thinkers can shine long term. So instead of doing one-off services, you can offer monthly support that looks like weekly posting, ongoing editing, content upkeep, asset management, and execution support during launches. So that that would give you more stability, and you will be able to have a better idea of what you're bringing in month to month. Um, the only thing that there's something about it that I was like, I wanted to make sure that I highlighted. This one, this one is probably not the best option without a little bit of training. You want to brush up on a couple of skills for these, but it still is one that you can get going relatively quickly. But it wouldn't be like the first one that I would be like, yeah, go out and do this, because ongoing client work is not like intermediate level, but you might feel more confident starting off with the one-off things first before working with people long term. So this works because this is going to give her predictable work. It's going to set clear expectations. It's going to build long-term relationships and less pressure to constantly reinvent, which one-off offers, you can start to feel like that. Or if you feel like you're creating a bunch of new things all the time, then you might feel a little fatigue with that. So it can offer it, but again, my suggestion would be to start with the one-offs and then work your way up to ongoing clients. But both sides of her creative thinking, the Divergent side, it keeps things flexible, and then her system side keeps things consistent. The next monetization lane is junior social media manager slash assistant brand partner. Okay. This one is this one almost reminds me of an internship, or I'm gonna stick with I was gonna say apprenticeship, but I'm gonna stick with internship. So this one resembles this will be a good internship. So this works because she's not positioning herself as a guru. She is a consistent assistant, a content assistant, not consistent assistant, a content assistant, a junior social media manager, and an execution partner. So a lot of the responsibilities as far as the strategy, she's not responsible for the clients, but it's still coming in and operating as like a contractor role, so to speak. So you still get to feel like you get that entrepreneur feel. So this matters because at 18, she doesn't need to sell authority. Okay, that's one of the beautiful things about just starting. You don't have to position yourself. You don't have to rely on authority. You just need to sell dependability and skill. So I'm gonna be there. I can do this. That's all we got to worry about. And then naturally, that's something that can grow into higher paying clients or higher paying roles if she decides to use this as a career path. Then the last monetization lane is teaching execution later, not first. Okay. This is advanced. You got fresh out the gate. You're not going this route, but this is something that you can grow into. So later on, she could teach on how to organize content, how to batch posts, how to keep systems simple, and how to execute without burnout. Because by that point, you'll have experience with clients that you can reference to then teach people the things that you're talking about. So systems thinkers can earn credibility with this lane through their results. So it really is a results speak for themselves. I do this in real life. So here are some boundaries that she should keep regardless of whichever lane she chooses. She should not lead with with strategy consulting. You're not doing the high level strategy and consulting things. Brand voice definition, growth forecasting, how to go viral advice, selling ideas without execution. So these are all things that you should not lead with, and you there are options for you further along. All of them could be, and likely they may be, because you'll have the experience and you'll be able to monetize it. But for now, that is not something that you need to be trying to get into, because it'll just stress you out if you don't actually have the experience yet. So her powers here are in making other people's ideas real. Okay. So here are some ways that she could position herself, just some phrases that she could use as elevator pitch, or just the, bio, things like that. So if she needed to explain herself simply, she could say something like, I help people create and post content consistently without the stress. Or I take content ideas and I turn them into organized posts and finished work. Or I support brands with content creation and posting so nothing falls through the cracks. So they're all very simple, straight to the point, clear, honest. Very easy sell. That's that all of those click very easily for me. So her creative thinking is monetizable overall because she can handle structure and uncertainty, which is a really dope combo to have. She can fix problems without panicking. She can repeat success, not just hit it once. She creates trust, not chaos. So, those are all the things that her systems and Divergent combo afford her. So, businesses don't just pay for creativity, they're paying for reliability. And this has always been one of those things. I'm not going to say nowadays, but that's really important to have, like across the board, is to have people that are reliable and people that can deliver consistent results. Like that almost trumps you being a creative enough for me. Having that is so important for people. And that's something that she has naturally. So if she wanted to make success, to summarize all of this, her success would come from selling execution, not ideas, charging for consistency, not inspiration, letting structure be her edge, and letting creativity support the system, not replace it. So that's it. Those are the monetization lanes. That is my Divergent case study for Mariah. And I'm excited for her to listen to this because she just has so many opportunities to be making money before she even graduates. Like this is like some exciting things, like exciting opportunities. So anytime I can be involved in a young entrepreneur realizing this is what they want to do, I'm gonna take that chance every time. I'm gonna do it. So yes. What did y'all think? Did you enjoy it? Anything stand out to you or excite you or maybe even inspired you? Like did you feel inspired by it? Did it give you any ideas? I think that the the one that made me the most excited from all of this was the repurposing idea, the content repurposing, and offering that I just there is so much opportunity in that. I just don't think there's enough people doing it. So that's the one that got me. A Slack message is coming. Okay. Definitely inspired to keep pursuing curiosity. Yeah. Yes. I love that. I love that that's the energy that she brings, and it makes me think about everything that's happening with Cenat too. If y'all heard that he made a video, I don't remember the title of it exactly, but it was something to the effect of I quit live streaming, and he is now pursuing a fashion brand. So right now he's learning how to sew, and he's in Italy, and he is going to people that's in the fashion industry and asking them questions. He's also been reading and reading, I think it's 25 minutes a day, something like that. And he's reading on video, and he'll stop to look up words. He's really investing in not only improving himself, but understanding or exploring what he is interested in now, and being courageous enough to explore it. And so, from what I'm seeing, there's a lot of people that's talking about him. Like, the choice that he made was silly. Why would you stop streaming? Nobody's going to take this seriously. Now, if people are really saying that one, that's going to upset me, because I that's one of those phrases that I've just never did good with. Like, if you want to make me mad, that's the way. So being able to see how people are responding to it, and I'm like, I'm looking at what he's doing, and I'm like, this he's going to be successful in whatever he does. Like, he's going to be successful, because the way that he is approaching this revelation, and in in essence is a rebrand. He's rebranding himself, and he's sharing it in close to real time. Like, I don't know when he officially started recording the videos or anything like that, but we're pretty much watching the journey as it's happening, and being courageous enough to do that, to put that out there instead of doing it privately. It's very interesting to see so many people talking about that, and finding a way to make it something negative. That to me is wild. But all that to say, he's going to be so successful, wildly successful, because he's a winner. He has the character of a winner. And I said that on Threads, and I didn't have any other way to say it. Yes, like a scientist. He is literally exploring, experimenting. He has a theory, he has a plan in place, and he is now exploring it and learning what that looks like to develop this, and what do I need to know about running a business, and taking in as much information as he can, so that he can be informed. He can make informed choices. So just seeing him move this way, I'm like, how are y'all not inspired by this? How and to an extent, like, convicted by it. Like, you should feel like, if he can do that, I can do that. I can be exploring. I can stop making up reasons why I can't pursue the things that I want to. I don't have to just resign like I've never done that before. I can't do that. That's just not me. I've never been in that industry. I've never had that kind of role before. Sorry, I got a little passionate about that. But that's really how disgusted I feel by the people who have anything but encouraging things to say. And this made me want to be like that. This made me want to move like that. This made me want to be more curious. This made me want to stop saying, I don't I just because I don't have experience in this doesn't mean I can't get some. That's not a real reason not to do it. Yes, pursue what's in you. So it is really, it's blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind that people are able to, how can you say anything negative about him? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What's wrong? Who hurt you? I needed to calm down. Yeah. If y'all haven't seen the video, at least go check out the first one. It's on a private channel, or it's on a different channel. He said he set up a different channel for this. So I don't know the handle for it. If I find it, I'll put it in the comments or in the description box, one of the two. And you can go to it and you can check it out. But you might be able to find it faster if you just look up Kai Cenat quit streaming or something like that. But yeah, definitely check it out. And I'll be I'll be recording not a response to it, but something like a response. We can call it a response for now. I'll be recording a response to it so that I can share some of like my perspective on it too, like my take on what he's doing and why I believe he's going to be successful. So yeah, I'll be recording that soon, mm, maybe tomorrow. But that's it, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and being so interested in these creative thinking styles. I still love the fact that we are all nerds. I really appreciate the fact that we are all nerds. Oh, that came in late, Adrian. What'd you say? Because they have made excuses for the limits they put on themselves, often trading expression for acceptance. Yeah. Yeah. It just made me think we got some work to do. We got some work to do. Those of us that are called to those people, that are called to help them to see that they don't have to be resigned to what they've always known, and that it's okay to rebrand. It's okay to shift into areas that you've never been in before. You know, like that's literally what you're doing anyway when you make a goal for yourself and you don't know exactly what that's going to look like or how you're going to change or shift. Just you don't know what that journey is going to look like. So you should just be comfortable with that. Like just get used to that being the norm. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do to get to those people. And I, for one, am excited for I'm excited for who that's going to be and what that's going to look like. Okay, I got some reflecting to do, y'all. I'm feeling myself get to that place. So I want to say thank you once again for hanging out. The next video is going to be, I don't know the date, but it is going to be the Divergent Thinker breakdown. So come back around, especially if you are a divergent thinker or if you was resonating with this case study. You're going to definitely want to hear more about yourself. And until then, I will I'll see y'all later. Be good, stay safe, and I'll talk to you in the next video.